Motivation Monday, and today I got another great guest. And so before we introduce her, we're going to talk about the book of the week. So for the book of the week is the 50th Law. And so it's from 50 Cent and then Robert Greene. And Robert Greene is the person who wrote 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, and different books like that. So he's a great author. But then 50 Cent, as you may know, if you watch Power, I'm sure most of you have, he's a brilliant artist and he's a brilliant thinker. And so this is a great book, and so we're gonna dive into this a little bit. But with that, I messed up the words. But anyways, we're gonna introduce our next guest. She's a day one, obviously, because we family and stuff like that. I love to see her grind. She has a loving heart. She's a great person. She's always a great person to be around. If you're around her for at least 10 minutes, you're gonna be laughing at least 8 of the minutes. So she's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? We come back from 2nd Ave all the way up to 7th. We was just always together, all our family just hanging out together. I'd like to introduce Ty Shay, Shea Butter, Shay Diversity Air. What's good?
Good, my boy.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man.
How you feeling?
Chilling.
Hey, so like, you'll see we got it on, kind of talk about Diversity Air, why you started it, and then let's show them the back of the shirt too. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm not even
Look at this, look at this, clean.
It's there.
Clean.
But Diversity Air more came about from basically, like Mike said, we spent a lot of time from 2nd to the 50s because my moved up. But yeah, it's about my childhood, like people in my childhood. I got cousins that did bids. I got cousins that did school. I got cousins that did everything, and friends that did everything. My own path personally too. Like I was kind of going down the wrong path before. Had to shift. I like to just chill now, so it's a lot. It's a collective of my childhood. So,
That makes sense. I didn't even know that too. Cause
it's a
think about
collective.
Diversity Air. That is because man,
we did shit differently.
Exactly. We literally got people in our whole family. We got killers. We got graduates. Like how much different? How much different does it get? And we all grew up in the same household, and our family probably gonna be watching this like, y'all right. And so it does show like, even though you come from the same tree, the fruit might not taste the same. You feel me? So
everything grow different, branches grow in different directions, and it has a lot to do with like friends too. You know, I had a lot of friends that just went on and did their thing. Left sports, left everything. And
exactly. So with you starting your own brand, and that kind of reminds me of this chapter. The title of the chapter is "Make Everything Your Own: Self-Reliance." And it says, when you work for others, you're at their mercy. You know what I'm saying? And that's about as simple as it gets, but that's really deep. And that kind of shows you building your own brand, starting your own business, that how important is it for you to be your own business owner and not to be at the mercy of other people?
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
I will tell you, like from elementary to high school, even in college, they told me like, you don't do well with authority. So it's best if I go ahead and be my own boss. I don't like to listen to people. Personally, I can take pointers, but running my life, we're not gonna do it. So self-reliance is everything. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's everything. You have to have it. If you can't, you're gonna get ran your whole life. And you getting ran your whole life is basically just you a slave.
Exactly. You a slave. I heard a book too. Was talking about you don't want to be a slave to a job. You want the job to be a slave to you. So you want your own business. You want a business to work for you. So when you sleeping, you get money. You know what I'm saying? It's that residual, that money just coming in. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's very important to be self-reliant, but then also having a business that, like you said, you don't want to be a slave to anything. You know, so I feel like that's very important. What's kind of some of the things like for those future people who's starting a brand, or those future people that wants to have their own clothing brand, like something that you're learning right now that you would give advice to them about?
Don't give up. Some people know, some people don't. I talked about this brand 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
I remember you posted a picture about the shorts too. I was like,
I
that
still
shit is
want
clean.
my shorts. But don't give up. Like, it was so many, like, not gonna lie, I was broke. Them 2 years ago. It just was a vision in my head. Like, I could take this shit further than just my mind. And sure enough, a blessing came, and I'm here now. So don't give up.
That's
like,
good. That reminds me too, is like having that vision in your mind, and like you said, where you was 2 years ago. How good of a feeling is it to see it like just bare? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know for me personally, when I actually seen the shirt, like I was like,
like when I'm seeing
I got my own clothes. Like,
I'm not even gonna lie, I'm seeing the mocks. At first it was the mocks, you know, the mocks. I'm like, yes, like I'm the one. Then the packaging came, and it was just like I did something for myself. They always said like I should have been the baby, because my sisters and my mom always did for me. Like, so doing it for yourself is just, I feel special, bro. It's special, bro.
That's a blessing for real. Like, and that reminds me too, can you kind of talk about like moving a little away from the brand, but then also too talking about what's kind of your motivation behind not only your brand, but just progressing in life? Like, who's some of those people that you feel like man, when I think of them, I just want to keep this shit going, or just going. You know what I mean?
Honestly, it was people. Mike is definitely one of those people. He's always been that cousin that has just outdone himself all the time. Very honest, very, so like, you are a very good model. And I would say it was all the doubt I was given to as a kid. Like, they really thought I was just gonna be, I don't know, everybody should think I was
just gonna be down.
No. And I never wanted anybody to have that image of me, so I started showing myself a lot more. I wanted to show who I really am, how I think, how. And
so then so do you think like people's perception put on you kind of like you said, motivated you, but then also kind of put a perception for yourself, how you viewed yourself down sometimes, stuff like that? Do you think that affects you?
I was actually watching a video a couple days ago where it was basically saying like all the limitations you put on your child will eventually, as they grow, because between the ages of 1 and 5, that's probably the most learning a child will do. They start analyzing everything and seeing stuff for what it is. And I think I went through that a lot. I have a twin sister. If some of you guys don't know.
Tiana, what
up? She was a model child. A student, artist. Like, projects used to come home. My mom used to put her shit on the fridge. But like, they basically wrote me off as the bad twin. The only thing I could do was play sports and beat up the boys. So.
Hey, but Tashay, remember we was out there on second, and y'all used to come play football with us in the field. And then one time, Mom Gaylina got on there for some hair.
My hair, bro.
And y'all, and that's the thing too, is like when they was younger, Mom Gaylina, for some reason, if one twin's in trouble, they both get whoopings. Like, but yes, like
having that perception put on me, like it made me go through school and just. Okay, well, you think I'm this way, I'm gonna be this way.
Yeah, just gonna live up to that.
I'm gonna live up to that. Whole time, people don't see me at home. I'm reading books. I'm not really watching TV. I'm studying everything that has to do with human nature, like earth, water, everything. Like anything you think of, I know it. If you ask me a question, it's going. You're gonna be like, damn,
this motherfucker not bad.
I'm not bad. So it definitely does hinder a kid when you basically put so much on them.
I think that's the learning experience from not only the parents, but just people in general. Is like, when you put that type of perception on people, sometimes they're gonna end up trying to live up to the expectations that you're giving, because that's the only thing they know. Like, all right, you saying I'm a bad motherfucker. All right, I'm gonna live up to that.
Show you that. I definitely showed them that.
And that kind of leads to my next question. So how has that battle from, like you said, people were saying you're this, but then you're at home doing research in biology, researching about Earth and stuff like that. How has the process for you, not only throughout life, but recently, been able to all right, I'm not just this typical person that people view me as in this, so you can see yourself in a brighter light than what you feel like was brought upon you?
It actually took a lady when I was a senior in high school, and she had just came to our school, a brand new face, and we had an assembly, and like I didn't break eye contact with her, and she said that was very weird. Like she's like, it's very weird for somebody to stare into your soul that much and not like, and I just told her like, I just.
You felt what she was saying,
yeah,
huh? What kind of did she talk about then?
She was talking, it was really just an assembly, you know, our assembly, how they just have, like, at school, they like, oh, this is your new aim, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, she kind of just, after that, we go back to class, 5 minutes later, I'm getting called down to the office. I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn, I got jumped.
She pulled me in her office, and she literally talked to me. She's like, I want to understand you more.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never had, like, even my own mom, I had never had anybody be like, I want to understand you, and I think that was like
on a deeper level than just the surface.
And she asked me about my childhood. She asked me how I grew up, how it is having a twin, and I told her like everything, and like I finally released a lot of hurt, you know.
Yeah.
So that was like the breaking point. I was like, I could be different. Like I don't have to be this mean ass hard body, because that's what everybody expects of me. Like mean, I'm very sweet. Like I love people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm goofy. So like that was the breaking point, which led me to believe like you don't have to be anything you don't want to be.
Exactly.
You could be actually who you want to be, not what people perceive you to be.
Yeah.
And that's important.
100%. I was going to ask you too, is like you reaching that level to where you're at now, do you ever sit down sometimes and look back on the progress that you made, like emotionally, mentally, and spiritually and stuff like that, and be like, damn, like, look at Shay, you doing it, like, stay positive, keep going. Like, do you ever get time to be like, you know what, I'm doing good, like, I'm gonna keep going, like, you know?
Some days it's harder than others
100%.
to look in the mirror and be like, you're doing great, but like, if you know me, yeah, like I can't even, blessed beyond measures, bro. Like my attitude is so much better. I don't really have like hate in my heart, and that's big for me. Like one of my best cousins, when he got locked up, it just was like
that shit. Yeah.
It drained me. Like I wasn't cracking that many jokes anymore. I wasn't like so.
100%.
I feel a lot more at
Yeah,
peace.
exactly. That's good though, cause like I feel like too, a lot of the people, like even for our cousin, like when people don't, like he kind of had that perception put on him too, as like the bad child too. So I definitely, that's why I feel like y'all was so close too, and still are, is because of y'all understand each other so much. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all relate so much. But then just kind of go back to kind of like the hate in your heart type of thing. When people have a certain level of hate in their heart, those are the people that are searching for the most love, because hate at the end of the day is the opposite of love. And so when people don't receive that love, they start to build a certain level
and
of
that's
hate.
what
You know
that's
what I mean?
another thing. Like I grew up in that environment too, where I was the black sheep in my family. I have 7 sisters.
Oh yeah.
But
Competition out there. Yeah.
3 with my mom, and I was my mom's ball player. I was her sports. My mom couldn't, like, she didn't have a boy. So like I was the closest thing, as you know, I'm gay.
Yeah.
But I was the closest thing to her boy, and I did everything my mom wanted me to do, and that's what made her proud of me. Outside of that, like she didn't ask me about school.
Yeah.
She didn't ask me about my grades. Like so, I was already set. My bar was already set low. Like what she seen, obviously what she thought she seen, because now like. Me and my mom have a way better relationship, but like my bar was set low from the time I was in elementary school on to high school. There was no, it took my twin a lot of the times telling my mom like Shay has homework. Shay's not doing her homework, just telling on me for me to even have to sit and do homework. So that was also a change. China is a big reason of why like I try a lot harder now. You know, so. It's different.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, shout out to Tyler too. She's doing great things too.
Pig, man. She
different. But then, so like, just thinking about, just fast forwarding to where you're at now. Like, what's kind of like for diversity era? What's like the expectations you have? Because think about it. And when I say this too, when you think of it, I want you to think of it as going to happen, not
Yeah.
as if or I want this to. Like, no, this is gonna happen. That's why. Yeah, exactly. So I want you to think of that in that way. But then also too, just kind of talk to us about some of the future, like without giving too much information, obviously,
Yeah.
but talk about the future. What's something that you want to see for diversity era as far as like, I want to see this person rocking, or I want to see 1,000 people wearing, or just what's
I'm
kind of
not
something.
even gonna lie. Like when I'm working on my brand personally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at locals. I'm not looking for locals. I'm not looking to compete.
Mm-hmm.
My whole timeline is pretty much filled with Gucci's, Lacoste.
100%.
Yeah. So I want to be next to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is my end goal
Yeah.
with this. Like
Let's
I
be
want to
above
be
them
next,
too, though.
above
Yeah.
them. But like I
I
want to
see what you're
be
saying, though.
there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want a household name. Like I want my brand to be a household name. So I plan to, you know, the urban furniture, urban art. Like I eventually want to do a cross between me and my twin because she's an artist.
100%.
So yeah, I want it to be global.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a Pacific person I imagine wearing it because I want everybody in it.
Yeah.
It's not that has nothing to
Yeah.
do with like that's not big to me. Somebody
Mhm.
can put your shit on and not do it justice. So like I said, diversity era, many different things, many different people. I want it all. So
okay, that's good. Do you like? So how do you go about planning out your goals? So is it kind of like, just say for 2 years ago you had the vision of diversity era. Did you write it down? Did you tell people, or did you post it? Like what do you do?
Is the funniest thing is I wrote notes to myself
Mm.
like a year, like last year actually. I could not figure out a name at first. Like it was so hard coming up with a name.
Mm-hmm.
And like one day I just was like looking at different things, and I think I seen my grandpa's building. He owns Creative Vision and stuff, and the art on it, well, it's different now, but there was art on the side of the building inspired by my dad. And it just was like all those names, and then like looking at my mom's old stuff and seeing all those obituaries, it was like different people. So I'm like, okay, like diverse. Well, what can we do? Diverse. And then I ended up just putting era on the end of it. It sounded good. I'm like, okay, diversity era. And I wrote notes to myself and I asked like, what do I want out of this? Where do you think this will go? And I ended up filling in the blanks. Like I had question marks basically. And it took me a year to literally fill
the
those
question
blanks,
marks. Yeah.
bro. Like ended up getting my slogan and all that stuff. So like basically, yeah, I write notes.
Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
I think too though about what she was saying. I think that's important for people to understand though is
it doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't. It's definitely a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. But the power of writing things down and what that does for the universe, because it shows that you're intentional, you're taking action. Because the first step for anything is, of course, the thought. But if you're able to put that into reality and write it down and put action in towards it, that's where things really start happening. You feel me?
I'm like, hold on.
All right. You good? You about to show you know?
Yeah, like it's called my diversity era planning. It's like, and like my slogan is like shifting culture because and like it says like what impact do I wish to have before I die? I was like, I want the biggest streetwear producer. I want to be the biggest streetwear producer and give back to my community. And it was like, what can I do to make it to the next level? I was like, stay away from those who drain you more than they give.
Yeah, and we had a conversation about that just before this too.
And yeah, the only question I still haven't answered is, where do I see myself in 5 years? I want to be at the top.
Hell yeah, exactly.
That's where I'm going with
top.
it. But yeah, those are the questions I asked myself, and that was 2 years ago. Like, and I didn't answer those questions until this year.
Yeah,
so.
That's good. I think too is the only way to shift culture is with diversity too. You gotta have a mixture of everything and everybody's.
Because if everybody's doing the same, it's like the culture stands still. But if everybody's going a different route, it has to do some shifting. Like
100%. I think too is for you, like you said, collaborating with artists, but then eventually collaborating with musicians, that's going to be something that really shifts the culture.
And that's the thing. A lot of people haven't heard about this brand. It's called Free Water. Shout out to Free Water. It's a bunch of artists outside, like in New Orleans and stuff.
Okay.
And they have a designer that does clothes. They have a promoter that hosts parties. They have rappers, and it works. You feel me?
That's
So,
deep though. Free water, because water's always evolving.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a constant shape. Yeah, that's fire. Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, I can definitely see that. I love music. Like
100%. Yeah, so like, and that's brilliant though. To think about that, y'all. Like, for her she thought of it starting off as a vision, and I feel like too, there's a difference between dreamers and visionaries.
yeah,
Dreamers, they're sleep when they're sleep, so then they're like, oh, they're just dreaming of some shit happening, so they're not taking action. But a visionary sees it when they're awake, and they take intentional action. Yeah, it doesn't just end when they're sleeping.
I'm not even
know
gonna
what I mean?
lie. I like to tell people like, don't say like you have dreams. Like say you have a vision, because dreams can change. Like I don't think people realize dreams are more of an illusion. It's what you see. But a lot of people don't actually always run to it, you know? They always only just, it was a dream, so like, oh, this is my dream, and the dream literally can carry over for 40 fucking years if you let it. So like,
that's true.
I don't really see dreams anymore. I have goals I want to accomplish more so than a dream.
Yeah.
Like, a dream is just an imaginary thing to me personally.
100%, I agree. And so like, taking action is so important. So like, what's some of the things too is like for, I think we alluded to it earlier, but what's advice for you can give yourself if you look back a couple years to that person that was 2 years ago? What's some advice you would give them to your own self 2 years ago? You see what I'm saying? Looking back, like what would you tell Shay back then?
Stop being afraid of your greatness. Like I am one of those people that is too humble. And like people take that wrong, like, oh, you have to be humble or God will do it. I don't know no rich person who God ain't blessing that's humble. I really don't. Like it's good to pop your it's a different way if you actually going towards people like they ain't doing, oh, you're not doing this, I'm doing that, that's different. But if you really popping your shit for you, for them days motherfuckers really slept on you, for them days you feel like you was all alone in the world, ain't nothing wrong with that. Pop it, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I think too, people don't, that's the thing too, is you can get discouraging, for me personally, because you do so much work, you post on social media, you do certain things, you showing off your stuff, you're wearing it, but then you be like, hey, y'all go out and buy my stuff. And then it's crickets in your DMs, there's nobody trying to shop on your website, you know what I'm saying? It can get discouraging, but I think it's important for you to always have confidence in yourself. I think one theme of the conversation we're having too is you can't let other people's perceptions of you decide who you are.
No.
You have to decide who you are.
Honestly,
and then people have to, if they get the wrong perception of you or if they get the right one, it doesn't matter because you are who you are. And that's what is important, I feel like, for people to understand.
I started realizing too, like I used to be a huge people pleaser. I still have that trait sometimes. Like it's just natural. My mom's from the South, so we consider it hospitality. Other people consider it doing for others, like just being used or whatever. But perception, like let people have those perceptions of you. Like stop trying to fix and just change people's opinion on you, because whatever they see, they're gonna see that, bro. And they could be your biggest butt kissers at the end of the day. You let somebody get you down that was really your biggest fan. Like, stop thinking like that.
It doesn't matter. Like I was telling you earlier,
man, like NBA said, I am who you say I am. Period. Like I can't do nothing about it. Like, and that makes a difference too.
Yeah, and then that's why I think too is like for me, like I was telling you earlier, when I start telling myself, I'm gonna invest in myself, bro. Like this year, like because when quarantine first happened, there's a conversation I had in my head. I was like, because I know when people are going to start getting down, a lot of people are going to be depressed and stuff like that. And I told myself, like, are you going to stop doing what you're going to do, or are you going to get to it? Like, which side are you going to fall on the side of this quarantine? Are you going to invest in yourself, or are you going to fall into the same thing that other people are? So then I start investing in myself, and that's when I start to bear the most fruit that I ever had in my life.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so scared to be poor. Whether I do it the last minute or not, it's gonna get done because I see myself at a very, very, very comfortable level. Whether it be, 100%. I give myself 25, and that's what I'm going for. 25 is my end goal, to be very, very comfortable. I'm 23, so 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like
100%.
Don't just lay down by the wayside, G, because it will consume you. I don't know who told motherfuckers it was cool to just lay down and give up. And I'm not like, but please get up.
Yeah, please get up. Please get up. Never.
Know that you have life, bro. And you still breathing every day is another day. Whether you don't have the money or not, if you do enough research, that doesn't even matter. Like.
It doesn't. Yeah, so like you gotta work with what you got, because there's people with less than you that's making that shit work. So make it work. Figure it out. Like whatever you got, whether if you have $10 or $0, make it work. Like you got it. Just don't give up on yourself. That's the key. Because if you give up on yourself, nothing's gonna get better. And there's one thing too I think about too. For me personally, I would rather work hard for myself rather than for somebody else make me work hard for them. Because that's how life's going to be for you. If you don't invest to yourself to a certain level, or invest in yourself to make yourself better, somebody else is going to make you work hard for them. So are you going to work hard for yourself to bear your own fruit for your own kids and your future generations? Or are you going to bear fruit for somebody else they're going to invest in their own kids? You know what I mean?
I will say this: Fortune 500 companies are built in the mind of one person, but eventually that one person is going to possibly run out of things. So eventually it becomes another person's ideas or multiple people's ideas being invested into it. So think about that. Like, these Fortune 500 companies aren't being just built on the boss, it's built on the workers.
The laborers.
The laborers, the one that's actually thinking of the ideas. And sometimes you're not built in the boss's mind at all. It came from somebody that couldn't do it or thought they couldn't do it.
Yep.
So
100%.
You gotta remember that too. Like, it's not all that's panned out to be. Stop looking at the outer and look at
the inner,
and basically peel back all the layers before you just assume like, I could never do that, because they probably could never do that. So, think more for yourself. So yeah,
100%. And so to kind of wrap up the conversation, I'm gonna tell you a quote. It's gonna be the quote of the week too. And comment kind of what you think it is. You can pause the video and kind of think about it too. But when you hear this quote, what do you think of? So, there are plenty of obstacles in my life. Don't let yourself be one of them. What do you think of?
Plenty of obstacles in my life. Don't let yourself be one. Don't let you become a part of why you came. Honestly, like, I feel like that's huge. Don't let you, because a lot of the time your main obstacle be your mind, your heart, your conscience, don't be the reason you don't go that far. And that's why I will say, that's what it means to me.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it means.
Yeah, don't be the reason you don't go that far.
Because because a lot of the time people don't realize you're the reason you're not getting your blessings. You're the reason. Like, there's a lot of people who complain about certain stuff, but it's you. Have you thought about looking at yourself and thinking about why you're the problem? Why the problem's not being solved?
I was just literally complaining to Michael about how I would just doesn't support, or I feel like they don't support till you're popular, right? And I had to really think also I had to think I'm one of those people that if you don't support me the first hour, it's like pretty much a done deal. Like,
Yeah, you gotta give it time. You gotta give it time.
But I realized I do need to post more. I definitely need to like showcase more of my things, and
You got it though. You got it. It's a long game. Fuck the short game. People think about. There's people who wake up. They
I
think
want the
about
money
just
now.
today. Yeah. Like, bro, give it 3, 4, 10 years. Okay.
Man, and I be forgetting that like
Yeah.
there's people that are just now like been doing something their whole life and just now getting
Just now bearing
attention.
the fruit. Yeah. Attention. Like they be like, bro, you blew up quick. How'd it go? In that person's mind that
I've been here
I
for 10
mean,
years.
You just now hearing about me, bro. I sent you messages 100 times. You just now responded. Like that's how it is. But when you embrace the process of life, embrace the process, that's where things are gonna start happening.
You know, God, you know, they say
God
God,
knows.
don't give his toughest battles to no weak soldiers.
Yeah,
You know, so
don't,
you know,
and that reminds me.
hopefully I'm the one of them strong soldiers.
Yeah.
God gonna be putting me in a big house soon.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That reminds me too. Something I seen on social media is this bothered me too. So it said somebody tweeted, God, I'm not one of your strongest soldiers. Like, stop sending me.
Take me out.
Yeah,
Lord.
take me out. Like, bro, don't have that. Please don't have that mindset. Please don't, because you're never gonna move to that next step. You got it. Believe in yourself. You're gonna do it. Embrace those hard times, because those are the ones that's preparing you for the next level of your life. It's just like with lifting weights. When you lift weights, you start to get calluses on your fingers, on your hands. It's because you're preparing yourself to lift heavier weight. And God's preparing you to lift that next weight of your life.
What's so crazy, like, there is literally a saying that they say, like, the top is lonely, but I don't understand, like, why we so scared to be lonely in our middle. If we already perceive it as when we get to the top it's gonna be lonelier. Like we should be honestly embracing that time alone,
To
understanding
love
ourselves. Yeah, because I honestly think money make worse.
Mm-hmm.
Money makes it definitely worse. You
100%.
have to deal with a lot of fake behaviors, fake like personas and stuff. So. Man, reverse that quote.
Yeah, exactly. Reverse it, please. And that's the thing, is when you gonna have all that money, you gonna miss the times where you don't, because nobody's hitting you up. Like, people don't hit you up unless a lot of people hit you up when they see you doing really good. Like
they could benefit from you. They get on your line every day.
Do you ever have those people where you start doing good in life and then they come out of nowhere, they hit you up like,
Woo.
hey, how you doing? They start liking your old posts. Then here comes the comment, then your DM. Now you on FaceTime with them 2 weeks later. You see what I'm saying?
The top is lonely.
So,
I'm at the top already, honestly.
Yeah. So embrace that time alone, love yourself, and never settle. We see you next week. Peace out, y'all.